In this exercise, we're going to use past experiences of positive emotions and bodily states to create present resources for focused attention, confidence, decision making, optimal learning, and just having fun. One of the important functions of memory is its capacity to make responses that we have already tried or experienced available in present time. Each memory can awaken the experience of a situation in present time and the experience of that feeling that accompanies it. Both the experience of the memory and the feeling that it produces are in present time events. Memory recall is, in a sense, a kind of present time practice of the skill or experience recalled. Some Buddhist teachers have pointed out that because of the processing time between sensory input and conscious awareness, even present time experience is already in the past. Our store of remembered experience represents a set of resources wanting to be tapped. Within the store, we can find answers that can be used to solve many of life's problems. Resources can be thought of as any experience or any memory of an experience that you have had. It might even be imagined experience as a role play. The idea that people possesses these kinds of resources is one of the basic presuppositions that we use in NLP. In this exercise, we will be using remembered and imagined resources for several purposes. Number one, as we did in the last exercise of just feeling good, we will be using memories to access the feeling. In this exercise, we will continue to use the brain's own control system and enhance the memory, recreate the felt emotion, and then experience the feeling in a pure state. Number two, we will begin by finding a set of 5 states that will serve as a set of feeling tools in everyday life as a foundation for other exercises. Number 3, an important purpose of this lesson also continues from the previous exercise. We are learning to make feelings or emotions something that we can do on purpose, not just things that randomly happen to us. Number 4, in every exercise, learning how to feel good is an important goal. We have all had far too much practice in focusing on the other extreme of not feeling good. Start by finding one memory example for each of the following categories. As you think of the example, pick the best few seconds. For each memory, give it a name and write a short description. The states are focus, solid, good, fun, and yes. If you feel that the memory is too personal to write down, just write a word or two that will allow you to remember the same episode in a reliable way. Now, we are not concerned about each example you find first. The order is unimportant. Feel free to try your favorites first and come back to the others later. We will be using these examples to access feelings as we enhance the memories using techniques from the last exercise. The feelings associated with them will become very, very strong. This makes it very important to follow the instructions carefully. Because we will be amplifying the feelings associated with them, use the rules for choosing the memories. Number 1, each memory should be positive, a memory that makes you feel good. Number 2, each memory should represent a completed activity, not something that is still subject to change. Number 3, the memory should not be related to food or sad experiences, even if the decision was otherwise very good and very important. Number 4, it is okay to choose simple, unimpressive memories. Remember, what we are going to take is the feelings and magnify them. Make sure to start with one specific example from a single time and a single place, even if it was something that you did often. Having a specific memory is more important than a perfect one. So these are the basic states. Number 1, focus. This should be an example of focused attention. It might have been a time where you were watching an exciting movie or reading an interesting book. It might be a time where you were playing a game or doing something exciting. Whatever it was a time where you were really there. You were in the moment. Time disappeared and you really enjoyed it, totally. It might be a time where you met someone new that you were very interested in getting to know, a time where you were able to spend hours with that person, but it only seemed like minutes. Make sure that it was something that you really enjoyed. Choose a memory with no regrets or mixed feelings. And take a moment to write that example down on your worksheet. The next state is a state we call solid. This is a time where you made a good decision, one that continues to be satisfying even today. Maybe you bought a car or a house that proved to be a good investment. For our purposes, find an example that involved a real choosing process. Find one that began with many possibilities but ended in a single choice. For example, think of going to buy clothes. Think of the initial choice of a store. Then you had brand and price range, and then ranges of style. At some point, the choice narrows to just a few possibilities. As you make the final decision, there is a feeling that tells you, that's it, that's the one. That is the feeling we want. So take a good moment now and write your example down. The next state is a state we call good. A time where you were totally surprised by yourself. You were able to do something and do it well, despite the fact that you didn't think you would be able to do it to begin with. What might make this experience special for you is that it wasn't until you already learned and were already doing the new thing that you finally realized you were actually doing it. I often think of trying to learn to ride a bicycle or drive a manual car. There is that 1 minute that it all comes together. Find that moment, find one like that. That moment where something really difficult suddenly just comes together. I also like to think of learning a new chord on a guitar, or maybe it's even something simple like tying your shoelaces. It begins with a complex set of individual movements. After practice, however, there comes that point where it all just begins to flow together in the single motion, and that is the feeling we want. So have a think and take a moment to write your example down. The next state is fun. A time of playfulness, an experience where you are just having fun. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be the best time of your life, just a moment of enjoyment. Take a moment and write your example down. The next state is called yes. And this is something that you can do competently, reliably, and repeatedly. It is something that you know that you can do well without a doubt. Again, this might be something as simple as learning to tie your shoelaces. You may have had some trouble to begin with, but now I'm sure you do it automatically without even thinking. Think of something you can do well and do easily, especially if it took time and effort to learn. Be sure to add an appreciation of how well you now know how to do it compared to how hard it seemed at first. Take a moment and write your example down. Now, once you've completed all that, I'd like you to do the following for each of the examples. Go back to the memory and step all the way into it. Close your eyes and re-experience the whole thing. Then provide the memory with a short descriptive name. Write it in the description box above. Go back to the memory and notice how quickly it comes on. Notice how much more detail is available this time. Notice something that you hadn't noticed before. What are you noticing now that makes the experience even more intense? Enjoy your ability to enhance your own experience. Now, in the following downloadable track just below this, I'm going to guide you through the process once again that we went through in the Feeling Good exercise. We'll be using the same methods for each state to make the memory much more enjoyable. As you step into the memory, rush right to the best part. As you do, make the picture huge and bright and bring it close. Turn up the volume and the sound and notice where the sounds are coming from. As all of this is going on, notice the feelings that you have in your body. Use the imaginary hands to take hold of the feelings and double them back through their source. Spin them faster and faster until the feeling becomes very intense for you. Spin the feeling faster and notice how the details of the memory increase just before they fade and you find yourself floating in pure feeling. It is helpful to grow the capacity for focused attention. Become aware of some object, thought, or memory. Focus on it and the feelings that arouses in you. Notice its color and size and the sound that it makes or might make. If you get distracted, practice noticing the distraction and allow yourself to be amused and gently turn your attention back to the object. Notice how natural distraction is and how quickly it goes away when you just accept it. As you return your attention to the object, notice that it has many features and many dimensions. As you return to it again and again, find more and more ways to experience it. Before long, you will become fully absorbed. With a little practice, you will be able to use this ability anywhere. Create exotic states from simple memories. Use other memories and apply these techniques to them. Discover what happens when small, pleasant feelings are magnified. What happens when you find really good feelings and magnify them further? Discover just how much choice you have in guiding your feelings, and build a repertoire of good feelings and notice how they tend to attract similar feelings and memories. So when you are ready, pick the first state that you're going to go and enhance and download the track below and let me guide you through the process.